Welcome to Monster Monday. So, continuing with the Phantasm series with Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. Now, Mike is back, the real Mike. Of course, the character was back in the second film, but in this third film, the original actor is back to play Mike. Now, even though they brought back the original guy, I kind of find this funny. In the second one, they replaced the actor and decide to make the entire film centered around the character. But in the third one, they bring back the original actor to make him disappear for about an hour of the film and only maybe have 10-15 minutes of screen time. What? Why would you do that? Why would it not be the other way around? But this is the story they wanted to tell. That's fine. I just find it very, very ironic. If you were going to have a guy replace Mike, it should have been for the third movie and have Mike. Obviously, it wasn't their choice. But I'm just saying, as far as the story goes, it makes very little sense to me. All right. They can't show Mike from part 2 in this either. So in the flashbacks, they have to be like showing Reggie and showing the side of this character and whatnot, but no face shots. The tall man in this movie dies and then is instantly replaced by a new tall man that comes through the the doorway, whatever you want to call it, the rift, and he immediately takes the old tall man's body and throws it back through. So I guess they just got an unlimited supply of tall men. And he also shows that he has a ball inside his head that rips out of him when he dies in this. So there's balls in all these guys' heads. The shotgun is just back. The quadruple shotgun or whatever. It's just back. Sure, why not? I mean, maybe at the end of part 2, somebody grabbed it and brought it into the hearse with them. Because remember, Reggie threw it down. And I made a big comment about that in the second one. Just one shot in the movie. And then he just threw it down and was done with it. It was like a one-use gun, a disposable gun. But in this third one, it's just laying there next to the car after it crashes, and then he picks it up and then just uses it. And I guess he has 8 shotgun shells because then he loads it again, shoots it again up in the trees, and then 3 midgets all fall at the same time. Midgets, yes, that's what they call them in the movie. That's what I'm calling them. So yeah, the shotgun's back. Sure, I guess so. Why not? They do show Mike's girlfriend dying. He picks up the blonde severed head, so we do explain what happened to her. We've got Jody back here, and the brain of Jody is inside one of these spheres, these balls, and throughout it he can appear to look like Jody, but then he actually becomes a ball again, and he's flying all around, and he's helping him out, and he's being like some kind of access ball. Who knows? These films really make no sense. The only thing I can really say, what I was paying attention to this time, was I felt like the dreams that they're in are almost as if they're in alternate realities throughout the entire series. Like, when they're in dreams, they're not really in dreams. Like, there's multiple layers going on throughout. It's almost like Inception or something. It's like a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. But every one of those dreams isn't really a dream, but an actual connection to some other plane of reality or some different version, timeline, dimension, whatever. Like, the things that are happening in their dreams are actually happening, but then when they come out of those dreams, or when they're pulled through the mirrors, or whatever happens, and then they die, maybe in those sequences, like let's say when Mike's pulled through the glass in the first one, or the kid at the end of this one, or whatever happens at the end of the second one. I can't remember. Somebody gets pulled through. But in those moments, maybe they die. Then they're like reset to a different plane of existence, and that's where their story then continues, but the story is now semi-different every time. So every time they reset, or they dream, maybe in those dreams, their dreams seem to always end when they die. So maybe that's actually them dying and they wake up in a different reality. Maybe this is explained in part 4 or 5. That's what happens. Or it's because I remember in part 5, Reggie is like in a mental institution or something. I don't fucking know. And in this one, Mike's in a freaking coma for like 2 years or something. He comes out of it. So maybe when he was in a coma, he was dreaming, but he was dreaming of a different reality, and it took him 2 years to die. And then when he died, he came to. Who fucking knows? I'm just spitballing here, but there you go. I like the Deadite kind of chick that has the ball in her head and explodes, and she has like the drill hand. She looks like Dr. Satan, Dr. Satan. I can't yell. I fractured my rib yesterday, and it fucking kills. I am in agony. I can barely do anything. If I sneeze, I am in freaking pain. It's horrid. So don't ever do that. I fell on a handrail. I was at a park. For those of you who are going to ask what happened, I was trying to walk up a set of stairs, and I was trying to show my kids something at the park, and I like turned around and I went to step on the step, and my foot slipped, cut up my whole leg all the way down, and I just landed on this right here. My rib hit the handrail, and it took the wind out of me, and I was sitting there. I was like, oh, this is going to suck, because I'm on this awesome routine at the gym, and I'm so excited about like how its progress is going and everything. And now I'm going to have to take weeks off, and I'm pissed about it. But yeah, it could have been worse, I suppose. But anyway, so the Dr. Satan, Dr. Satan. I can't yell. I can't give it too much enthusiasm. Tall Man seems to have some new powers in this. And I don't know if it's just the different iterations of the different universes and dimensions that I was talking about, the possibility of those things being a reality. Maybe in each one of those, the rules change a little bit. Maybe the Tall Man has different powers in that. Maybe he didn't have a ball in his head ever, or maybe that version of him that came through the void has sphere in his head, and then the other ones didn't. Maybe there were different kinds of Tall Men. I have no clue. I mean, you could just go for days with what the hell's going on in here. One of the villains in this that goes after the kid in the Home Alone type house is the Bleak from the movie Adventures in Babysitting. So it was cool to see him. And that kid fucking kills all 3 of the ghosts. He kills them. Full on kills them. Awesome stuff, man. The fun house. When he's like going through the house and he's like acting like Roach from People Under the Stairs, and he's like running through the walls and shit. Awesome stuff. Really, really fun. But this film is just a little more playful. I mean, all of them are fairly playful, but this one's starting to get a little more silly, which tends to happen in these longer running franchises. I know we're only on film 3, but it's still playing a little more into the comedy. Reggie's getting a little more slapsticky, you know. They're trying to make him almost like an Ash. Not that over the top, but still. Love that he tries to leave the kid, pays off some chicks, like, hey, you know, you got a bunch of kids, want another? Here's like a few $100. He gives her like, even though that looked like a lot of money to her, and she's like, oh my God, look how much money this is. Really? For a child? Do you have any idea how much a child costs? If you don't have a kid, you have no idea. Let me tell you, there ain't no stack of cash that fits in your wallet that's going to cover the cost of a kid even for a fucking month or two. So Reggie giving her all that money, she's like, oh my God, look at this. It had to be $1,000, maybe $2,000 at best. Wow, that'll last you a weekend. Thanks, Reg. And then, so rules yet again, as I said, the rules change. I don't know, the ball's stuck in the flesh, that Rocky's sister or her friend or whatever that chick is, we don't really get to know her. She gets a ball stuck in her head. It drills into her head. Now in the last one, they use it as a key because it's stuck in flesh, and as long as he keeps it stuck in like the hand flesh, it won't, work. Because I guess when it's stuck in flesh, it stops working. But when he goes to try to grab it from her head, it just flies itself right out. So all of a sudden, and then the other one has, it moves so fast it actually goes right through someone's head. So why does it even need to drill anybody's shit out? And how is there a drill and a hole in the back when now there's brains inside of them? Like, it would be shooting right through the center of that brain. So some of them have brains, some of them don't. Some have the power to go through a head, some don't. Some are, inside heads, some aren't. Some, who fucking knows? I mean, they're all different spheres, and I'm okay with that. It's not that they all have to do the same thing, but as I said, this franchise is so confusing. So this is where we get Rocky, the new love interest of Reggie. And Reggie, of course, is being a total perv, total creep, total fucking creep, dirty old man. Because he's considerably older than Rocky. Now, two consenting adults, I don't give a shit if chick's 18 and the dude's a fucking 100. If she's into it and whatever, that's their business, none of mine. Do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. But the way he's coming on to her, he's so strong. He convinces a child to sleep out in the car when an undead army is hunting them so that he can try to bang a girl that's half his age that has never shown him a lick of interest. Nothing, zero. I get it. Trust me. He's out on the road. Road is a lonely place, Oh, come on, lighten up. Lighten up. That's his line. Wow. Lighten up. He's trying to bang this girl who shows no interest, and just because they're sleeping in a bed together and she decided to come with him to help, that he's going to be like, come on, lighten up and just let your fucking legs open up and me inside of you. Lighten up. That's a far cry from lightening up. That is letting up your morals and your convictions. So, Reggie, but this is a typical, stereotypical male character in these kinds of movies, and of course, they're less than favorable in the eyes of today, I suppose. But it's still fun. I'm not shitting on the character. I'm not trying to be woke or anything. I'm just saying it how it is. This is some creepy shit that he's doing to this girl. He's coming on way too strong, and he's gotten no indication that she has any interest at all. I mean, she even tells him right when they get in the room, don't fuck with me. Straight up. And he totally gets what he deserves. He never even gets to touch this girl. He gets locked, handcuffed up there, and that's that. If he didn't see that coming, he's more horny than he's letting on. And he let on that he was real horny. But you have to be pretty damn horny to miss out on the fact that she's handcuffing you to keep you at bay. I could not sleep handcuffed to a bed with my arms raised above my head, especially right now with my rib. Ow, that actually hurt. The kid driving is a really funny sequence. Reggie immediately regrets it. The kid is absolutely nuts behind the wheel. Mike is a much better driver when he was a kid. And where does Reggie get money? That was something I was kind of wondering throughout the movie. He buys a new Hemi Cuda and he has all this money. He has it in the second one. He has it in the he has a side ice cream hustle in this movie. I don't know. We're not really ever clear on what Reggie's doing for money. Maybe he's pimping. Maybe he's a gentleman caller. I don't know. He wouldn't be as hard up if he was, so whatever. How is there an active hotel in the middle of 4 towns that have been completely abandoned and killed off? No one's noticed, supposedly, that all these towns have been killed off. So then where does the guy at the hotel and the maids that would service the rooms, clean up the rooms, where do they live? They all live at the hotel, and they didn't notice that the 4 surrounding counties are dead and gone. Where are they getting food? Where are they getting anything? I just thought that was really stupid, that he's they're driving to a place that they know is already dead. They've already passed through 4 towns in a row that are dead, and they talk about it as they pull over on the side of the road to the hotel, and I'm like, then how the fuck is there an active running hotel here? Where do these people live? Or motel, should I say? Makes no sense, but nor does this fucking franchise. So this is still a super fun movie. I had fun with it, but if you try to analyze it at all, your brain's going to explode and a fucking sphere is going to fly out of it. Reggie is a skis. That's what I have written down here. That's funny. That's a better word. And then he dreams. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is where I came up with the idea that you are affecting the world, the other world, through your dreams, because he goes in and him and Ball Sphere Jody release Mike from his prison, but then Reggie wakes up and the Sphere Jody brings Mike into the reality through the the void, the doorway, the pathway. So did he actually free him in that side of things? And he did that through dreaming. So his dreaming took him into wherever the rift would take them if they went through it. But isn't that doorway to their planet? Can that doorway go other places as well? I am assuming it can, because that's where Mike was. And we know Mike wasn't on that planet. Otherwise he'd be crushed. I mean, the weight and the heat, right? So when he was dreaming, he was actually in that reality. But when he woke up, he was back in his reality. And then he started singing Eminem, Snap Back to Reality. Yeah, I don't know. When that happened, I was just, my brain started turning like, oh wow, okay, so he did affect and he did release Mike from his confines, because it would be too coincidental that he was doing that in a dream and then Jody actually brought him through in the thing. So I guess their dreams do matter, even though it's a dream within a dream. So then if that's the case, then we think the first movie was all a dream, but the first movie wasn't all a dream. It was, but it wasn't. It was like actually happening and affecting things, but in a different reality. Sure, whatever. Hopefully there's more explanation in the fourth or fifth one. I remember the fourth one not being very good. I remember the fifth one being really bad, like, on a production scale for sure, aesthetically and all that was horrid. It was like crowd-funded, ultra low budget, looked like absolute dog shit. So that's tough, man. But at least it got made before Angus Schrimm and everyone passed on. So that's great. And I do look forward to now having watched them all in a row to see where 4 Oblivion goes. And there's a line in this that I feel like is almost a nod to the series, but it's seeing is easy, understanding takes a little more time. A lot more time. Like, I've seen these movies a few times, and years, and I'm still not there. I still don't understand. So a little more time, I think, is an understatement. A lot more time. Mike has a ball in his head, and he has shiny, reflective ball eyes. It's got testicle eyes in this. So Mike has been turned. I remember him driving around in like a hearse in the fourth one a lot, and he's been turned, and he has the ball in his head still, and he's like half turned. So maybe he's like in between states, so he can kind of exist simultaneously between both planes, like, because he's supposed to be in the undead world, but he's also in the living world because he's like half there. He's only mostly dead to Blave. I really don't know. And Rocky just bails. I love that Rocky just bails. She's like, this ain't my shit. This ain't my jam, I think is what she says. Love that stuff. That's hilarious. And then Reggie is pinned up in the corner by a bunch of the spheres, and then the kid's pulled through the glass, which is the gimmick of the franchise. That's the I've got a bad feeling about this or something. Like, that's the constant in every one of these movies. So there you go. Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead, fun to be had. I feel like it's on par with the other two. They all just kind of have the same level of fun with a ton of confusion throughout, where you're just like, huh, wait, what, who, why, what? So if someone could ever explain what the hell is going on in these, like 100%, or at least like a really, really good argument, I'd love to see it. So link me below to a website where someone has explained the Phantasm movies. I'll watch them after I've watched all 5 so that I don't get anything in my head. I'm still going to try to figure this out as we go, but I feel like I'm onto something with the dreams. But anyways, adios.